Hello. How you doing? What do you think of OG Fortnite now that we're almost 2 months in? I love the game mode, but I don't play it all that much, and it seems that neither does the community. With season 2 right now around the corner, I wanted to talk a little bit about the current state of the game mode. It's not looking too hot. Non-ranked and ranked player counts combined, they don't even make half of what the normal Chapter 6 BR is, at least at time of recording. Zero build is still a little healthy, or at least it's got more players than I thought it would. We're not going to talk about zero build counts. This is all in stark contrast to player counts from even just a month ago, back in December. So what's happening? I believe that Epic really shot themselves in the foot with this mode and how they executed it. With 2023 OG, which was excellent, it was just so big, it felt like a last hurrah for the OG mode, and then it would be gone. With the limited time, it really put a big impact on the player count, so a lot of people wanted to play it. Then a little bit later, as the game gets stale, I did not play Chapter 5 hardly at all, so I wasn't there, but what I understand, Season 3, that's when Reload came out, and I did get on to play Reload, and I thought it was fun, but with the new movement, I just didn't like it, so all that much. But later on, I played it a little bit more, and I liked Reload. But Reload takes a lot of the elements from the old game mode, the old Battle Royale. I mean, a lot of the same guns, a lot of the same locations. It felt OG-ish, and both of these take away from the current OG, the Fortnite OG, with the multiple seasons, 2024, 2025 OG. We get OG 2024, and it starts off pretty good. I mean, it's not touching any of the player counts from 2023 OG, but it's okay. 300k. The first few days it was 500. I can't quite remember, but I know it got over 1 million at some point. So that's pretty good. But the honeymoon's been over for a while, and it's not looking hot right now. I mean, currently it's below 100k for builds. It's not looking great. For many, OG just isn't that fun. I mean, nostalgia wore off, and it's just not that fun for a lot of players. Now, I don't know how many of those players from the beginning were concurrent Fortnite players and they just wanted to try it, or if they're old players that came back, but it just wore out. It's not fun, and for me it's fun, but for a lot of other people it's not. And I believe there are two big contributors to why the game mode just kind of is dead in the water. It's not completely dead, but it's not at a good spot, I don't believe. It could be better. So I'll kind of explain those two issues or contributors to the decline of OG Fortnite in this video.
I want to see some movement. I'm not seeing enough movement.
The movement sucks. I'm gonna start with that. I've reiterated this a couple times in other videos. This is coming from me. I'm not up to date on the current stance on the OG Fortnite player community. I believe that it's still wanted that the old movement comes back, but maybe I'm not correct. But for me, someone who's played Fortnite for quite a long time, I do not like the new movement in the old mode. I used to be fairly decent for Chapter 5, where it would be that Chapter 3 was when sliding and mantling was introduced. I don't remember what happened in Chapter 4, but Chapter 5 introduces the new animations and the new kind of style, where there really isn't a sprint. I mean, there is a sprint, but there is a sprint now, but it's not the same as it was before, because there was a walk before, then you hit shift and you'd run faster, but you could still build when you were running faster. At least that's what I remember, but it's been so long, I'm not quite sure. But now there's the walk and then the sprint, but you can't build when you sprint, and I find that really annoying because I want to hit my shift key, because all other games, they have, any at least shooter games, you hit shift and you'll just run faster, and old Fortnite, I'm used to that. So for in a build fight, or me getting into a build fight, I used to feel really good about just getting into it, and I have a pretty good attempt at winning any fight I got into. Not now. I feel a little lost, a little uncontrolled. It's not necessarily the mantling or whatever mechanics. Sliding, I'm fine with. I mean, I'd prefer it's not there in terms of replicating OG mode, but I'm fine with it. But it's just that sprinting deal. I just don't like it. I hit shift and I can't build anymore. I find it really annoying. It just doesn't work for me. And this is me. I have played the game, at least some, with the new movement, and I haven't really taken ever longer than maybe an 8-month break from playing the game. So I've at least came back to it every now and then to kind of refresh my abilities. But it used to be, like, if I took a 3-4 month break, I could come back to the game. This was underneath old movement. I could come back to the game and I would take me just a little bit and I could pick it right back up and I would be doing just fine. I could go into a box fight or whatever and I would do great. It's not the same way anymore. If I take a couple weeks, as I have here around the new year, I can't. It's really hard for me to do well, and I just really don't sprint. I don't even, to kind of do decent, I just don't sprint, and now I'm slow, and it doesn't work very good in the new kind of meta. But imagine what it would be like for someone who hasn't played the game in several years. Let's say, I mean, since chapter 2, whatever, it's 4 or 5 years, depending. I mean, and they come to this game mode, the OG, and they feel completely lost. And I mean, you know, OG is meant to draw in those kind of players. Chapter 1, anybody who played in chapter 1, and they have this new movement. Why would anybody want to stay with it? In the end of the day, it's just a video game. It's not that big a deal, but you gotta think about it a little bit. I mean, why would you want to suck at a game again? If you were good back then, you come back to this with the new movement, and you can't do very well. Why would? For me, it's really hard to like come back to a game, and I'm really bad at it, and I try to get good at it. I don't really want to try to get good at it. I just wanted to keep the same skill level, and that's been nice with the old movement, is that I could keep doing them. Not now. It's pretty hard to do fair decent. I find the same issues in like Siege. If I stop playing it, come back, I'm gonna suck, and I gotta try to work again to be good, half decent. I'm not saying I'm good at Siege, but that's a different story. Now let's talk about sweats. They aren't the biggest issue necessarily, but they did kind of spawn what in my opinion is the biggest issue, and they are the root cause of a lot of people's complaints. So first few days of OG, they were fun. They were just stock standard BR like it used to be in the old days, and I found it fun. I wasn't struggling too much against sweats. I mean, I was getting crapped on, but it wasn't near as big a deal to me as it seemed to be for a lot of other people in the community. You went on YouTube back when and just saw any kind of OG video, and then the comments are just filled with, oh, it'd be good, but it's too sweaty, and I'd have fun, but the sweats are just ruining it. So Epic, in their attempt to fix that, they add SBMM. Yay! The community was so happy. The complaints instantly went away. The game soared to heights never seen before, creating an entirely new golden era of Fortnite, and we celebrate Fortnite Day as a national holiday every September. No. Instead, we get
bots.
Anyway, why did there need to be bots? Why did they need to add those? I mean, they added SBMM. Wouldn't that kind of fix the issue? Why do we need bots? I mean, back then, there was enough players to fill a match. Obviously, now, maybe. I'm not quite sure how matchmaking works in that regard, but there's definitely enough players to fill a match back then with SBMM. Now, maybe not. But we still don't need the stinking bots. I mean, I complained about this in one of my first videos talking about OG. I'm still complaining about it now. I haven't played for a couple weeks, 3 weeks, kind of around Christmas time till the last week or so. I didn't really touch it. The Fortnite, I played Siege and distracted by other things. But I come back and the bots are still there. And on my first few games, I was getting a lot of them. And now maybe it's because SBMM and they haven't played in a bit. I don't know how long it takes to like reset or something. But I come back and there's just so many bots and it just feels so dead. People talk about the game feeling empty and there's nothing there. Well, there's a good version of that and there's a bad version of that. I liked old Fortnite because there wasn't so much movement. I mean, when you got into a fight, it wasn't rare, but it was kind of a big deal. Like, if you win this fight, you got time to regroup. People aren't gonna be jumping you right away. You have big open areas to just get away. What I understand, the newer chapter maps have been bigger, but the movement and stuff makes they don't feel that big. The old map is smaller, but it feels big and empty. Then there's the bad version of empty, which is I'm running around. The situation I remember is like where Lucky Landing will be, down there to the south part of the map, and I'm running around with my squad, and the zone's pretty close. It's like the third, fourth circle, and there's that bridge down there that crosses the river, and I could see a fight, and so we start running at it, and we can see it for a long ways, and it's just bots. I mean, they always have that. I think they always have pistols or ARs, one of them, and you can always tell it's a bot because of how they shoot. It's really weird bursts of like pistol fire, and it's just random, and there's never really any shotgun shots. And I mean, we show up and there's like one left and we kill it, but the game feels so empty because you're gonna win that fight, and it feels so empty in a way is that you're just playing a single player game, and not even a fun one because it's not challenging. It just feels so, yeah. So I mean, nowadays, do they need bots to fill the games? I mean, with player count being lower, I think player count wouldn't be as low if they got rid of bots. At least I find. And now I don't know how SBMM works. I've seen some things like you get more bots, you get like half a lobby of bots being lower skill, and you get 10 being higher skill. However that fluctuates. And for me, I hate the bots. Maybe some people do. Tell me in the comments if you do. I don't like bots. I like having the mystery of what you're going to run against. Now, obviously, SBMM, that mystery's kind of gone. You know they're going to be a half-decent player, or not necessarily half-decent, but they're going to be matched with your skill. But the bots make the game feel so empty, and not the good kind of empty. With that in mind, imagine being one of those players that comes back to the game after, I don't know, since bots have been added, because bots were added in like chapter 2 is what I kind of remember, is season 2 maybe. not quite sure on that. I know there weren't bots in Chapter 1. And when I say bots, I mean like actual robots, not bad players. But imagine like you played in Chapter 1 and Season X made you stop playing the game for good, and you come back because you're looking forward to that Chapter 1, Season 1 experience, early Chapter 1 experience, and you get bots. It just feels so dead. It doesn't show the game, doesn't replicate the game like it used to. Now some people argue is like, oh well, people were bad back then. They weren't that bad. I mean, people might not know how to build or might not know how to move exactly correctly, but you knew how to shoot. And with the bots, you don't actually know if a bad player is being bad. I guess this kind of undermines my previous statement, but it's fun to know that there's an actual person you're beating on the other side. It's not just an algorithm. Like you're actually, it's a competitiveness sense is that we all generally have. You beat somebody, and that feels kind of good. And with bots, that's not the case. You didn't beat anything. Legitimately, you didn't beat anything. It's just when that bot dies, there's nothing there afterwards. There's no satisfaction. And it just feels so empty. Now, there is other things to complain about, like the HUD not being fully accurate. And then the sellout that I still kind of find scummy. Because in my games this last week or so, I haven't seen that many Renegade Raiders and Aerial Assault Troopers. I mean, I'm not going to say to the extent that I've seen as many as I would before they came back, because that'd be stupid, obviously. I've seen more than that, but not near as many as I would think to see. Now, obviously, maybe that's came and went. I haven't played as much in the last 2-3 weeks, so I can't confirm that, but it doesn't seem like it was worth it all that much to bring him back, and hardly anybody bought him is what I'm seeing. I could be wrong. Tell me in the comments. But there's those few things, the HUD and the old skins and smaller corps, but they're pretty minor. They're not game changing. They're not ruining it. Hopefully, though, Season 2 will breathe some new life into the game mode. I think it will. I don't know to what extent. Obviously, it won't be advertised as much as just like the whole mode coming back. Because, I mean, you can remember the YouTube ads is like Fortnite 2017, was that what it was? And Play Again, or Fortnite Chapter 1, Season 1, Play Again. And you hit yes. I don't know if you remember those ads, and they had the old music. And those are nice ads. I don't think Season 2 is going to have those kind of ads, because it's not as big a deal. Or at least. Maybe I'm wrong. Maybe there is ads. Unlike YouTube, that's my only. So maybe people won't know about it as much, but I hope it breathes some new life in, because if it doesn't, that's really sad for the future going forward. Season 2 is a big season because Tilted, the big map updates, and then that's really when Fortnite kind of started to get its identity, and to me, the identity of like, they have the skins that you correlate with the game and correlate this kind of artistic effect with the game. It's a battle royale with these goofy skins, and it's kind of silly and fun, and that's kind of the how I'd characterize Fortnite. And Season 2 really brought that kind of characterization to the game. So here's to hoping that Season 2 breathes some new life in. But let me know in the comments what you think. Are you looking forward to Season 2? I am. I'm mostly looking forward to Season 2. I actually played Season 3, Season 4, but Season 2 is exciting because a lot of the content, YouTube content that I watched back when, was of Season 2. So, here's to hoping. Thank you for watching, and God bless.